Hey folks, MasakoX here. This week is the big one, and in terms of the story here, it's getting close to one of the big moments. Or is it? Will the rapid increase in power, stakes in celestial bodies be something that the likes of our subject for this story be able to keep up with? Or will other factors and personal choices step in to bring things into another direction, more fitting or apt, and not just for the sake of our own needs and wants? If Chi-Chi were to have a solid chance of becoming a Dragon Team member, would she go all the way, stop it, or would she want us to pull out, I told you to stop it, and perhaps settle down and let the others take the strain? I'll allow it. In the last part, we tackled the start of Chi-Chi's training by her using her expertise in guile to impersonate Barber to gain King Kai's favour for his time and efforts. Whilst that was going on, Raditz took it upon himself to be a good uncle and show Gohan what it meant to have Saiyan DNA within him by some bug swatting, as well as introducing Vegeta and Nappa to the young one as an example. However, the prince managed to completely undermine Raditz's training and using his dog body for a chump whilst doing so, and yet still was able to leave a mark on Gohan with him not really doing anything, leaving the young man sort of admiring Vegeta's conduct? Yeah. When Nappa let slip Raditz's true actions when Gohan was out cold in the pod, the uncle wasn't going to get much further. It led to our heroes then finding Kami's old ship, confronting Raditz out in space one last time, when he was already on the back foot, and you remember what happened. Upon Raditz running away, having given Gohan back, he decided to be a jerk one last time, welch on the deal he had made with Goku, and send forth his Saiyan associates to Earth anyway. Would this lead to the same happening on said world? By the time our heroes return home with Gohan, the likes of Bulma, Roshi and Oolong are ready with the Dragon Balls to summon Chi-Chi back. However, when they bring forth the dragon to make the wish, Chi-Chi tells them that she's not ready to come back, at least via Shenron. Upon further elaboration from King Kai's telepathic antennae, Chi-Chi explains that the reason why she doesn't want to come back yet is that she's not done with King Kai's training at this moment. She is glad to hear though that Gohan is safe back on Earth and promises him that Mama will be home soon to give him a big hug and to show off some new tricks. Gohan likes tricks because tricks are for kids. With King Kai being quite susceptible to telepathic stimuli whilst on a call, he then feels something bad heading their way.
I hate to interrupt the loving, but you might want to know that two really sketchy powers are heading your way. From the looks of it, they look like Saiyan pods.
Goku is aghast.
It can't be! That scumbag of a brother tricked us!
Gohan then looks up.
Oh, that must be Vegeta and Nappa.
They round on him. Wait, he knew them? He'd met them? Normally, King Kai wouldn't care about this kind of stuff, but he was curious to know exactly how Gohan lived to tell the tale. Gohan then explained how cool Vegeta was to him, and how powerful he was. That being a Saiyan didn't seem so bad once he realised that Raditz wasn't the only example going of those monkeys. But King Kai had to be the one to burst his bubble.
Kid, you are way wrong on that front.
Before then giving them all the Saiyan lecture that we got in the filler of DBZ, before promptly going for a very long nap, and then resuming training with Chi-Chi, once he'd actually gotten his strength back. They had about 1 year before they arrived, and about 9 months left before Shenron's revival clause would expire. Because remember, back in the day, with the Earth Dragon, you can only be dead for up to a year before you can be brought back. After that, no, you can't do that, at least with the Earth Dragon Balls. And we haven't been to Namek yet. But one last thing Chi-Chi mentioned to everyone was that Bulma should look into making a place where gravity can be manipulated.
This place's gravity is intense, yet I feel that it's helped my training a lot. Perhaps you can make use of it too.
Bulma was on it. She liked a challenge, especially after having recently conquered space travel. I mean, once you've done that, there's not really much else left to do. They then requested Shenron to hold off on the wish, and he promptly vanished, being put on pause, the Dragon Balls remaining in place, and then locked away for safekeeping. You know, the Pilaf gang might come back. The training in their respective camps picked up considerably. The alliance proposal Piccolo had formed earlier when out in space was brought to bear, with Kami's additional support, of all people. and all the Dragon team were actively improving their strength, ready for the incoming betrayal from Raditz that they weren't supposed to know about, but they now totally do. Chi-Chi spent her time mastering the art of Kaioken and the Spirit Bomb, this being quite easy for her to do thanks to her innate talents in the aspect of divine energy and pulling or summoning external sources of power. Granted, it didn't make her better at it than Goku. You are kinda tied to what life energy is around you, but it meant she mastered it faster than Goku did, and Kaioken times 2 was the peak of her skills at that time, and this then meant she was done. The day came. The day before her ability to be brought back to life would expire, and her life was indeed granted, and she could then set off for home. After her training, Chi-Chi felt amazing. She felt the gravity difference and as light as a feather, thusly flying at great speed toward King Yema's station. A few hours later, she was already there at the check-in station, and Yema wasn't expecting to see her right now, but Kami was. He was there to meet her and take her back to Earth to meet the others. When she got there, both Goku and Gohan were thrilled to meet her. Then, with 3 months to spare, before Nappa and Vegeta arrived, Chi-Chi found out that in the 9 months from King Kai's warning, Gohan had been able to harness his inner bull like she had done. But the effects of Raditz's indoctrination meant that Gohan was a little bit of a loose animal, a bit of a wild one, when he got into that zone. It made him very much bloodthirsty, hard to calm down, some of the Saiyan nature starting to show itself, either through his own DNA and chemical chance, or through outside influence from those pesky monkeys. And upon finding this out, Chi-Chi was determined to beat Vegeta into shape for all of the lies that he had spoon-fed her son. And part of that was to teach Goku the art of Kaioken as best as she could, as well as Krillin and Piccolo. Yes, Chi-Chi, unlike Goku in the original, knows how to share. Goku takes to this naturally, and Piccolo, through sheer regenerative persistence, does as well. As for Krillin, it's a little tricky. He doesn't have magical powers to help dampen the strain that this imposes on the body, but he can use it, barely, especially given the limited amount of time they have left before the Saiyans are going to arrive. However, they are ready, and everyone is present and accounted for. When the 2 Saiyans arrive, Raditz conspicuously absent, everybody is ready, and thanks to their much larger powers, Vegeta doesn't feel the need to use Nappa's volcano explosion to catch their interest.
That's suspicious. Raditz didn't tell us they were that powerful. Wait, you think Raditz led us into a trap? No, he's not that smart. He probably forgot or didn't think to check properly. No matter. This shouldn't stop us from having a little fun. And with that, they headed off for the powers they held on the Scouters. Sure enough, the gang's all here, and they are ready. Nappa checks the Scouter again for some more detailed power readings. Thanks to the gravity chamber idea from Chi-Chi whilst on King Kai's planet, everyone had a power level of at least 3,000, something of which was hard to confirm from hundreds of miles away. This surprised Vegeta, especially Kakarot and his woman's power, 5,000 apiece. Gohan was there too, and his power as well was 3,500. He smiled. Hey kid, these friends yours, huh?
Gohan looked torn. He still looked up to Vegeta, but he was told that it was wrong to believe in him and whatever he said. He remained silent as the battle began, choosing not to take a side. There was no need to use Cybermen, Nappa thought. After all, despite their self-destruct powers, they would have probably been torn apart before they could even get a chance to use them, get anywhere close to using that technique. So, Nappa had to go in on his own, Vegeta choosing to sit this one out. Nappa picked out Krillin to fight first, sensing his power was the weakest of the group, and the little guy didn't want to fight him, but he had an ace in the hole. He hoped it wouldn't fail him now. With that, they fought, and Krillin initially played the weakling, having to dodge desperately to give Nappa the sense of false security. Then Krillin muttered, "Kaioken times 2! And his power buffed up to 6,000 out of nowhere, but he knew he had to act quickly before he would be out of commission. He used that time to dart around the big lug, giving him some really quick strikes which hurt badly. He was getting into it actually. But Piccolo sensed something was wrong. He wasn't gonna make it out of there without some help before Kaioken gave out. And then he'd be a sitting duck. Pun definitely intended. Piccolo got into his position, firing up a special beam cannon whilst Nappa and Vegeta were distracted with the little mallards darting around. It struck Nappa in the heart and brought him down, killing him instantly. Nappa's body collapsed to the ground, and Krillin immediately had to power down before he collapsed too, exhausted.
Hey! I could have taken him, Piccolo! Look at you. A few seconds more and you'd be the one on the floor.
Krillin hated to admit, but Piccolo was right. But at least Kaioken worked! He needed to work more on it though. With Nappa gone, Vegeta was now down a man, and he was genuinely saddened to see his attendant sniped like that, having not had the sight of him being made a fool of like in the original.
You think you're rid of him? I'll use the Dragon Ball somewhere and bring him back.
That's not possible, said Goku. Our ones don't work right now.
Oh, I don't need yours. I did some digging after your brat told me about them. The Namekian homeworld. They will have some, no doubt.
There was that name again. Piccolo was definitely getting irritated having heard it. He was going to get some answers about this when all of this was over. I mean, after all, they'd already destroyed one of the monkeys. It was imperative now that they stopped Vegeta before he could use wherever Dragon Balls were in this cosmos. He wasn't that fussed about fighting Goku and his woman though, but he didn't really have much say in the matter as both of them launched forward and attacked. At first, their combined power wasn't enough to overwhelm the prince, but when Kaioken came into play, them both using ×2 for the moment, Vegeta was now at a disadvantage, with no moon to call upon, or given the chance to call upon it. Chi-Chi then took Goku aside and planned to use her other trick she had, that she learnt whilst at King Kai's, whilst Goku and Piccolo together take on Vegeta, them both having Kaioken. They were on it, under the pretense of Chi-Chi fleeing with her baby boy. Thanks to Vegeta's nature, he thought it was the woman getting the child away from the fight, and paid no mind to it. But Piccolo turned out to be just as tenacious as her, and thanks to his regeneration, he could push Kaioken much further with less worry of going too far. Chi-Chi set herself down a distance away, out of Vegeta's eye line, and began to charge the Spirit Bomb, telling Gohan to get somewhere safe. Gohan kept trying to convince her that Vegeta wasn't that evil since he was going to save his friend from death with the Dragon Balls, right? Surely there was some good in him if he wanted to do that, right? But Chi-Chi wouldn't hear this and told him to get out of the way and then to safety. Gohan didn't like this. Him clearly inheriting some of Raditz's defiant nature with his short time spent with his uncle. The boy stomped off to find cover. As Chi-Chi charged the bomb, Goku and Piccolo were able to give Vegeta a really hard time, whittling him down with the burst of Kaioken here and there. The prince then got to the point where he had to use the Gallic gun in the sky, and this was against the joint Kamehameha and special beam cannon, both at ×3. This dual attack was enough to stop Vegeta and leave him considerably injured, and when he got to ground level, Chi-Chi had then charged the bomb much faster thanks to her previous learnings. She leapt from behind a cliff and hurled the bomb at Vegeta's back. Honor be damned. Granted, Piccolo and Goku were still there, but she knew that they were of good nature, at least she hoped for Piccolo's sake, and the blast shouldn't hurt them. The bomb connected, and whilst it didn't vaporize the prince, it left him hundreds of feet into the air, battered and bruised, and in no condition to fight, especially when he plopped back onto the ground. And yeah, he called for his pod. Goku thought about killing him, but Chi-Chi told him not to. I'd much rather let Gohan see him for what he is. A weakling. Not worth his adoration. Actually, where is Gohan? Yep, Gohan had just walked off earlier. It soon then became clear where exactly he was. Before they could do anything about it, Vegeta had clambered his way into his pod and promptly fell unconscious. Gohan was in the pod too. What? He must have found it whilst off on a sulk and was still in it when it had been summoned. Well, Chi-Chi, he hadn't been convinced, and the hatch closed, the pod shooting off back into the sky. Gohan was gone. Again. This time, he chose to go, and Chi-Chi fell to the floor, sobbing. If only she had kept an eye on him. Goku feeling terrible. If he had not let Raditz get away the first time, none of this could have happened. Piccolo, meanwhile, was focused.
It's settled. We need to head for that Namekian planet before he gets there.
Piccolo, what are you talking about? Said Chi-Chi, still sobbing from the situation. He's going to use the Dragon Balls to wish his friend back to life. And I don't think they're going to be pleased to see us. They'll try again and probably blow up Earth before we can respond. He's injured, so that should give us time.
Well, what about Gohan? We need to get him back.
Piccolo then continued, not known for his tact.
I hate to say it, Chi-Chi, but your boy has other ideas for now. Russ, we need to go to that world and get the Dragon Balls first. If what Vegeta said was true.
Well, it was possible. They had a ship ready to go. But if more people were going to be coming with them, it needed to be bigger. Bulma! Back on Frieza Planet 79, weeks later, Vegeta landed with a sleeping Gohan beside him. Thanks to the stasis inside the pod, both of them had been suspended, and when the prince came to, he saw the Sprog and was stunned.
What? Well, what's he doing here?
Vegeta tried to think what to do next. Then it hit him. This one, he remembered, idolized him for some reason. Yes. His original plan was still possible. The kids could still be used to his own ends. Forget bringing Nappa back. He'll use this kid whilst on Namek to then perhaps gain something greater. Immortality. And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now. So what do you folks think? What is going to happen with Gohan now? Can he be swayed back to our side? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. And I will see you in the next video. Catch you later.